Hi, I'm Doug from GearTunes, and on behalf of D'Addario, Sweetwater Sound, and Gear Talk, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the second NYXL Pedalboard of the Week giveaway. And this week we're giving away this pedalboard. Before we talk about how we're going to break this video down, I would like to take a moment and congratulate Don Kuchta, winner of the first NYXL Pedalboard of the Week giveaway. Way to go, dude. Congratulations. So the first thing we'll be covering is what you need to do to potentially win this week's board. Then we're going to talk about the components that I used to construct the board, as well as the order of the pedals in terms of the signal chain, what I placed where, and why. In turn, we're going to deconstruct the 15-second demos that we shared at Instagram and Facebook.com/GearTunes and talk about how I use the feature set of each of the pedals to construct those tones. One last thing. For all the gear you're hearing in this video, or seeing in this video, please visit GearTunes.com/NYXL for product information, my demos, as well as the demos from the original manufacturers, as well as the ability to select the Buy Now button once you drill down to the product pages. And that's going to take you to the respective product page on the Sweetwater website. Sweetwater is our retail partner on this promotion. And at GearTunes, our mission is pretty straightforward. We like to connect the dots between gear, demos, and great dealers like Sweetwater. Please help us support that mission by visiting GearTunes.com/NYXL. All right, let's get to it. To qualify to win this week's pedalboard, you're going to need to do the following. First of all, if you're not on the desktop version of the YouTube site, may I suggest going to youtube.com/GearTunes and looking there. You're going to see some links. You're going to need to subscribe to the GearTunes, D'Addario, Sweetwater, and Gear Talk YouTube channels. Got to subscribe to all of them to qualify. You're also going to need to be a resident of the United States, Canada, or the United Kingdom. International regulations make it super difficult to expand this giveaway beyond those regions. We're really sorry. We wish we could. As I mentioned in the last video, the core components for all four of the giveaway boards are the same. And each of the videos, I'm going to be talking about one cool thing that each one of these things brings to the equation. But in the last video, I kind of made a mistake. I forgot to mention the HumX. So in this video, I'm going to talk about two things that this amazing little device does. First of all, if you live in an apartment building and that refrigerator turns on and your gear starts buzzing, this eliminates that type of noise that travels through the ground line. The other thing that this is really good for is if you're using two different amplifiers and you turn on the drive channel, you know what I'm talking about, and they start buzzing, you start getting ground loops. And these are really good for helping eliminate that noise. Continuing from the ground up, we get to the Stompblox modular pedal boards. And one of my favorite things about these boards, if you look on the bottom side here, you've got these channels. And they make it super easy to be able to tether your cables and your power runs underneath the board and make them super neat. These are really great boards, and I love the ability to keep all those runs there very neat and very clean. All of the boards we're giving away feature the VOODOO Lab ISO 5 power supply. And one of the things that's great about these power supplies is they come with all the connectors and all the connectivity to power a very unique board like the one we're using here. This board's got a bunch of stuff that's at 9 volts. It's got stuff that's at 12 volts, and it has stuff that's at 18 volts. And this power supply is able to power all of that. The Planet Waves cable station pedalboard cable kit includes a cable cutter and these gold tip jacks, as well as enough cable to put together an entire board. And the really cool thing is between last week's board and this week's board, I was able to put together this board in about half the time. Super efficient, super fast, and super clean. To the best of my knowledge, the Peterson Strobe Tuner Stomp Classic is the only pedalboard tuner that also features a DI output. So if you're playing an acoustic guitar along with your electric, or you're playing bass, your tuner can also double as your DI box, and that is super convenient. All right, before we get to the signal chain, I want to talk about a couple of safety measures that I've employed on this particular board. First of all, the cables going in and out of the board respectively, I've wound around the bottom of the pedal board. Stompblox have got kind of a skeleton, if you will, that allows me to wind that cable in around the bottom there. I'm doing this for a couple of obvious reasons. First of all, if you're on stage and you happen to catch a cable underneath your foot, or another band member does that, as that cable pulls taut, it's going to pull taut on the bottom of the pedal board. It's probably not going to break the cable, it's probably not going to break the jack, and it's also not going to break the input or output jacks on your pedal board respectively. That's a big deal. Now the other thing that I like to do is wherever my first pedal is on the pedal board, I try and place that pedal in from the edge of the board, such that in case somebody is stepping around my pedal board, they're not going to step on that jack at that right angle and again potentially break the jack on the cable or break the input jack on whatever pedal is first in line. All right, let's get to the signal chain. So the signal chain on this pedal board is pretty much standard operating procedure for how I like to run things. Running into the tuner first. Like I mentioned in the last video, if something goes down on the pedal board, I want it downstream of the tuner. Also, because this tuner has a DI out, if I've switched over to acoustic guitar or bass, I want to make sure that signal can get out to the PA. Next in line is the Bogner Uberschall distortion pedal. And like you might have heard me say before, I liken a distortion pedal to the preamp section of an amplifier where you get your distortion, which is why the Uberschall in turn is running out into the Radial Texas Bones Overdrive pedal, which I liken to the power amp section, power amp overdrive, preamp distortion, Uberschall, power amp overdrive, Radial Texas Bones. In turn, that's going to go out into my modulation effect. In this particular case, the Pigtronix Rototron, which is a rotary speaker simulator. Very cool. And then last in line is my time-based effect. In this particular case, a TC electronic flashback mini delay. All right, let's get to the demos. In this section, we're going to do 3 things for each of the tone generating pedals. I'm going to start off by kind of talking about how I'm using it in the framework of the pedal board and demonstrating that. In turn, we're going to play the 15-second demo that we shared on Instagram and Facebook. And then, in turn, I'm going to deconstruct how I was using the feature set to craft those tones. So we're going to start off with the Bogner Uberschall pedal. And in combination with this rig, it allows me to create a clean tone with just the amp, my distorted rhythm by engaging the pedal, having a slightly louder rhythm tone that's a little bit wider because it distorts the front end of the amp a little bit more when I engage the boost on the Bogner Uberschall. And then when I engage the TC delay, it gives me my solo tone. All right, let's start off with the clean tone. Guitar is going to be in the number 4 position. Switching to the bridge. Adding the boost. Adding the delay. Considering that's just a deluxe reverb, that's pretty outrageous. All right, let's check out the 15-second demo. For the demo you just heard, I was using this guitar in the neck position, and I really loved that I had a lot of definition when I tapped the notes or pulled off to them, but it wasn't tubby. All right, let's take a look at how I had the pedal set. From left to right, you've got the volume, treble, middle, bass, and gain. And at the lower left there, you've got a little dial that allows you to choose how much boost you want when you engage the boost foot switch. All right, for this particular demo, I did not have the boost function engaged, but still lots of gain. Love this pedal. I'm going to miss having it around. The Radial Texas Bones is a single channel drive pedal with 2 different sets of controls you can toggle back and forth between using the toggle foot switch. For this rig, I'm using it pretty much the standard way I like to use a drive pedal. I've got my clean tone. I engage the overdrive to add just a little bit of hair that still doesn't mask the sound of the amplifier. Then I'm going to engage the toggle function to give a little bit more something, bring the volume up, bring the treble back just a little bit, just so you can hear how well it changes between overdriven rhythm and overdriven lead. Same pedal, but that ability to bring that volume up and bring back the treble just a little bit, that's really awesome in one pedal. All right, then I'm going to bring in the TC delay and the Uberschall on top of that. Let's have some fun. Number 4 position, amp clean. Adding a little bit of hair. Adding the toggle function for a little bit of lead. Way too much fun. All right, let's check out the 15-second demo. One of the things I love so much about this pedal is how responsive it is to my right hand. There I was in the bridge position, but it wasn't too harsh. Very cool. All right, let's talk about how I've got it set up. All right, level 1 and level 2. If you notice, level 2 is a little bit hotter, so when I toggle into that mode, I get a little bit of boost. In this particular instance, the demo you heard, I was still just using level 1. All right, the byte switches, both of them, byte 1 and byte 2, I've got them in the off position. If you're a Les Paul player, you might want to experiment with bringing in a little bit of byte and kind of setting the pedal such that it sounds right for your Strat, and then adding a little bit of byte for your Les Paul. Tone controls, I've got just a little bit less high end on tone 2 for my solo boost. And then the drive, you notice I don't have a huge amount of drive. Here's the thing, this pedal is really, really organic. It's one of the reasons I love using it so much. Awesome. Moving on. So that gets us to the Pigtronix Rototron Rotary Speaker Simulator. And this is going to be one of the more ambitious demos for me to pull off. Let's see if I can do it. All right, I'm going to start off utilizing the Rototron in an eighth note triplet feel. Then I'm going to step on the fast slow switch and bring it back to an eighth note feel. Then I'm going to bring the level down. I'm going to engage the TC Flashback Mini Delay. I'm going to move from the number 4 pickup selection to the number 5 pickup selection. I'm going to engage the Bogner Uberschall. I'm going to do something slightly Hendrixy, and then I'm going to end up at the end with an open low E chord in the bridge position. I'm going to mute the low E string, and hopefully there will be some feedback that will ensue, and I'm going to toggle back and forth between the slow and fast modes on the Rototron, and in the midst of that feedback, you should hopefully hear the Rototron ramping up and down in terms of speed. Let's see if I can pull it off, starting off in the number 4 pickup selection. Well, that was fun. Let's check out the 15-second demo. As you can probably tell by now, I'm pretty darn fond of running the Rototron with an eighth note triplet feel in combination with this guitar in the number 4 pickup selection. Let's take a look at the feature set. In the upper left-hand corner, you're going to find the ramp control, and that allows you to adjust how fast or slow the pedal ramps back and forth between the slow and fast setting. To the right of that, you've got the speed control for the slow setting. To the right of that, the speed control for the fast setting. And to the right of that, the depth control for how much effect you've got. In the lower left-hand corner, you have the foot switch that allows you to toggle between the slow and fast setting. This pedal also has stereo in and out, as well as some additional functionality that you can find out more about if you visit, you guessed it, GearTunes.com/NYXL. All right, that gets us to the TC Electronic Flashback Mini Delay. The TC Electronic Flashback Mini is the cutest little tiny pedal with a huge amount of tone and great ambience. Let's check out the 15-second demo. As I'm sure you could tell on that particular demo, I was using a lot more delay than the way I've been using it with this board here. This is a beautiful sounding pedal. Let's take a look at the very small feature set. All right, on the top you've got the delay, which controls the delay time. To the lower left you have the feedback, the number of repeats, and to the right of that you have the level, which controls the output of the delay. Now this particular pedal is tone print enabled, which means you can do all sorts of deep editing if you connect it to the tone print editor via USB. Right, for more information about this pedal, you guessed it, please visit geartunes.com/NYXL. Want to thank you for hanging out all the way to the end. If you're watching, you're awesome. Best of luck. Thanks so much for watching. Cheers.